U.S. deploys littoral combat ships with 8 anti-ship naval strike missiles in South China Sea. The Navy is now pushing the littoral combat ships out into the Pacific in force after more than a decade of stops and starts and studies. Once you put it in its own environment, it does extremely well. It does better than a destroyer in that environment. A decade ago, the Independence and Freedom LCS variants were designed to be low-draft, high-speed ships that would swap out a series of mission packages aligned to mine countermeasures, surface warfare or anti-submarine warfare missions. However, delays in developing and fielding the mission packages on both classes to that end, USS Gabrielle Giffords, LCS-10, left San Diego in 2019 for 7th Fleet with a variant of the surface warfare SUW package that marries up twin 30mm cannons and a 57mm. The Navy pushed to add the over-the-horizon anti-ship missile to make the Independence-class hulls headed to the Pacific more relevant against a peer threat. It is not blue water ship by any means, but when you put it in the archipelago and you combine low signature and high speed, it turns out it's very hard to target. She just kept out there pounding away, blowing up every Chinese operation. It was pretty impressive work. Defense officials familiar with the deployment told USNI News the People's Liberation Army Navy paid particular attention to the Independence-class ships when they operated in the South China Sea. While a U.S. destroyer operating in the region typically draws a plan warship as a tail, Montgomery and Giffords drew 3 Chinese warships to observe operations. In the last several years, the Chinese have announced the development of their own trimaran with similar characteristics. While MERS is a self-avowed LCS fan, there are problems. The USMCM assets in the Western Pacific are nearing the end of their lives in the mission package that was envisioned to replace the 1980s-era Avenger-class wooden MCM ships, and the MH-53E Sea Dragon MCM helicopter has suffered embarrassing delays. In 2016, the Navy was forced to retool the MCM package after canceling the unreliable semi-submersible program that was supposed to tow the AQS-20A mine-detecting sonar. The Navy is now in the process of certifying individual pieces of the MCM package for an initial operational capability and mixing and matching MCM capabilities inside the fleet. This end-all be-all test for the mission package. It's certainly important, but the capability The end-to-end test of the first increment of MCM capabilities bound for LCS is tentatively scheduled for fiscal year 2023 or 2024, USNI News understands. MERS expressed concerns over the current contractor-based model of maintenance and sustainment for LCS. The Navy is pulling away from the original concept. MERS went on to say that while the maintenance portion needs work, the hulls were more rugged than advertised. When I cross red lines with water jets and diesel engines and turbine generators that I don't think in any cases ever resulted in an inoperable ship. They maybe can't go 50 knots, and now I'm down to 25 knots, but in the environment I use it they typically just stay on the field and fight through it like everybody else. In the long term, MERS